Hey guys, welcome to Gaming Instincts TV, and today we got a special surprise for Sea of Thieves with
Mike Chapman, design director at Rare.
Awesome, man. It's so good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. It's been a while, right?
It's been a while, but me and Rare have a pretty good relationship with Nick Burns starting in 2015 and then you in 2016 and now again in 2018.
Yeah, we're here again.
Yeah, I wasn't here last year, so I'm sure we would have been if I was. Yeah,
absolutely.
So with that being said, man, Sea of Thieves came out. Talk about it to us. How's it been so far for you?
Yeah, it's been absolutely tremendous. So, I think by every measure of success, it's been an incredible launch. We've seen 4 million players since launch, average play time of 22 hours per player.
Are you guys still growing?
We are absolutely still going,
Okay.
and we can talk about that in a moment.
Okay.
So, some awesome stats, 1.5 million friendships made, so friends made through playing Sea of Thieves.
One of those relationships is also I made a lot of friends too.
Fantastic!
So
that was always really special to us. The idea that being on a ship in this pirate world, having these incredible adventures, it was a great way to meet friends. Really proud of that. You can come and play Sea of Thieves, and even if you don't have a ready-made bunch of friends, at least there's things in the game to inspire those friendships. So it's been wonderful to see that. But our approach now is very much around building on this awesome first start that we've had. We're really proud that core vision of Sea of Thieves it's a new IP, doing things different. It's a new take on multiplayer. You truly feel like you're working together with people. You can have experiences in a game that no other game can give you. We want to build on that awesome foundation now and adding new content across the game. So we've already had the Hunger in Deep launch, which was adding the Megalodon, it's added the speaking trumpet, this cool new tool in the world. Also added the drum and the flag system. That team had a relatively short space of time. They only had 2 months to build that content.
Wow.
But at the same time, we had the Curacao team start, and they deliver in July, and the Forsaken Shores team in September.
So obviously they have a little bit more lead time.
Yeah, so each team is having an increasing amount of lead time.
Which is good for you.
Absolutely.
And everybody else.
It's great for players because players are going to get these bigger content releases. And what's great as well is that when Hunger in Deep is finished now, that's been released to players. So that team has moved on to the update after Forsaken Shores in September. And when the Curacao team deliver in July, they're moving on to what's after that. And we're also setting up a fourth team to go deliver awesome content. So we've actually realised recently there's actually more people working on Sea of Thieves now than before launch.
How many you would say? Off the top of your head.
You're talking upwards of 200 people actively
200
working
people,
on it.
wow.
A lot of people working on content.
That's combining the entire team that is separated into smaller teams.
Yeah, so focus teams building out content, and as you say, the lead times for content is getting larger and larger.
Obviously.
So they're leapfrogging over each other. So the team gets many months to deliver the content.
So it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
And from a player's perspective, they're getting new content every 6 to 8 weeks, these big drops of content.
Plus weekly events. Talk about that a little bit. So what are you guys doing for this week? I believe it's starting this week?
Starts tomorrow. So first one tomorrow is first of their what we call Bill's Rat Adventures. So these new characters who've come to the world, and they bring with them new objectives, a new currency for players to earn, and new rewards to earn.
Are they actually a new faction?
Yeah, they are a kind of fashion. So the Bill's Rats, they're like these. They consider themselves the true pirates. They're almost a little bit renegade. They're all about the freedom of the waves. So they'll challenge you for these various thrill-seeking activities. So the first one is called Skeleton Thrones. It's a little bit goofy. It's the idea of we've hidden these skeleton thrones all around the world, hard to reach places. We've got this great mechanic, as you know, firing yourself out of cannons. And this is almost like, if you remember Monkey Target, it's like Monkey Target in Sea of Thieves. You're firing yourself out of cannons to land in these thrones. What's special about it, though, half of those thrones you get rewards for sitting in with your crew, but there's half of them also reward you if you're sitting them with another crew. So again, inspiring that social play.
Interesting.
So the idea is that you've got these big content releases happening every 6 to 8 weeks, and then you've got these regular events happening in between. So the idea that there's always something new to come back to, come and learn in Sea of Thieves as you build up to these big releases. But the whole game is just going to get richer. So we're enriching ways to play, we're adding new quest types, increasing quest variety, adding new goals for players, goals for everyone and goals for Pirate Legends, and then lastly what we call the journey. So enriching the toys and the tools that you've got in the game. We saw that in the Hunger in Deep with the speaking trumpet, this
and
cool, the drum, things that you use in the quest, but also enrich the whole game.
Of course.
And Forsaken Shores introduces the rowboat. So a new tool. So it kind of makes sense, right? Because Forsaken Shores, if we talk a little bit about that, Forsaken Shores introduces a whole new world region. So players have been asking us for new areas of the world to explore. And what we wanted to do, especially after, we've added the Megalodon, a new threat. We've added skeleton ships, another new threat for players in July. when it got to September for Forsaken Shores, we want to make the islands a threat. So the idea is that the new world we're adding is called Devil's Roar, and you can seamlessly sail into it. And the idea is that it's geologically unstable. So when you're on the island, you'll feel little earthquakes, and you'll stagger around.
Right.
And you'll look towards the crater on the island, you'll see black smoke, and there's at any moment you can get these volcanic eruptions that can erupt these kind of hot rocks in the air.
Quick question on that. Can there also be a storm during that time, or probably not, right? Can the volcano and the storm happen at the same time?
So
No, right?
I think we want to ensure that like the key identity of that region is the kind of the geological activity. So there's a contrast to the existing
Okay, so
world
if you go in there, you're gonna get hit with lava. If you go back to the world, you're most likely gonna get hit by lightning strike.
Yes, yeah, but
Makes sense,
I guess the key difference is that in the main world, the storm is something you can actively avoid.
Right.
Whereas when you go onto these islands in Devil's Roar, these things can strike at any moment.
Oh, okay.
And that's why we brought in the rowboat.
That's pretty awesome. I cannot wait to check that out myself.
We're actually prototyping it now, and we've got to a great place with it. It is so different.
It's so
it obviously
different.
looks spectacular,
Right.
but it's a key part of the gameplay. And the idea with the rowboat is that because the volcanoes can spew out these hot rocks and it can damage the ships, and you could take shelter in a cave.
Right.
The idea is that you could anchor your ship far away and then row into the islands because your ship is safe. And what's great is that it makes sense in that world region,
Right.
but the rowboat then enriches the whole game. So imagine if you're a solo player, you can fill up the rowboat with all your treasure and row back to the ship in one go instead of making several trips. So it's going to enrich the whole experience.
Right. So now there's different ways of thinking for players to get around. The world.
Exactly, and like another tool that can change players' emergent adventures in the world. So
Awesome.
seeing players rowing gunpowder kegs and sneaking them and then blowing them up and blowing up other ships.
That's
or,
great.
Like coming across people in the world that speak to you in the speaking trumpet when they're in the rowboat. It's going to add like more to the players' creativity.
So I'm gonna tell you a story because Sea of Thieves is all about telling stories.
It is all about stories.
And I'm gonna tell you our story, the Gaming
Cool.
Instinct story.
Cool.
So it was me and a couple of my friends or whatever. Just I think one of them was like a pug or whatever, and we're just sailing around, and we see a skull fort and we're just doing a voyage, and I was like, oh crap, dude, there's another galleon coming up here, and this is not good. And I'm like, do you want to ask them, like, if they want to go help us out with forts so we don't get killed?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. And I'm like, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. If they don't fire, let me go on their boat, and I'm going to talk to them. This was before Hungering Deep, so we don't have the trumpet now.
Sure.
So, we're very close in proximity, and they're passing by us, and they didn't fire, but we got kind of scared, and they're probably thinking the same thing, because they know they're here for treasure, and so are we. So I'm like, okay, and I get on the boat, and I'm like, hey guys, do you guys want to party up and just go take out that galleon over there at the fort and take it away from the loot? They're like, yeah, let's go do that. We're like, okay. Cool. And while that's happening, they're not in our party chat yet. I'm telling my guys, I'm like, this is what's going to happen, actually.
Yeah.
We're going to go in there. We're going to help them out clear the fort. We have kegs up on the crow's nest.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, exactly.
I know where this
so
is
I'm
going.
like, you guys are going to just basically help them out, fighting the forts, and I'm going to tell them I'm standing here to watch out for both of the ships. When in reality, that's not what I'm going to be doing. But it's smart, tactical, right? So
sounds pretty piratey.
Yeah, so they're like, okay. And I'm like, tell me when you're on the last boss to signal me. Basically, that's going to be the signal that while you guys fighting the boss, that I'm going to go put up some kegs.
Yeah.
So, we get there. They're all happy. They're fighting, and they get to the last thing, and I'm just putting in one keg, and then putting in another keg.
You opened the door? The door opened? You got the loot?
No.
Okay, we're building up to that.
Yeah, we're building up to that, yeah. So they hear, all of a sudden, they kill the captain, and they hear the super loud boom. Yeah. And we all start trying not to laugh so hard. And these guys are like, what just happened? And we're like, we have no idea. And then one of my guys just shot him in the back of the head. Their ship completely sunk. They all despawned. Yeah. And the whole party chat went silent. Because they know they got played. Yeah. And one of our guys could not resist laughing. He had to mute himself. It was the best part, right? So, and we're like, cool. And we took the loot and we were successful.
Wow.
We were having a laugh of the day. That made my nights.
Yeah. I mean,
this is why I play Sea of Thieves.
This is like all those kinds of stories, right?
Right.
Players using their own creativity, their own ingenuity to have these awesome stories, and that sounds pretty piratey. That was pretty cutthroat of you. But,
of course,
but we see that all the time. When people saying the first time I played Sea of Thieves, and I've had an experience like no other game has ever given me.
Right.
And I think that's what's special about the game, and then building on that and giving more opportunities by adding more tools like the rowboat, cursed cannonballs as well, which we haven't talked about, giving you more tools.
Yeah,
to go and
actually,
enrich the world.
what do the cursed cannibals do? Can you
Yeah,
talk about that a little bit?
so these get introduced in July, the cursed sales, and it's almost like the skeleton ships have emerged and they brought this new ammo type to the world.
Oh.
And it's a fantastical take on the cannonball. So right now, you just got the standard cannonball,
Right.
you can put holes in the ship, but these, you find them in the world and they bestow status effects on players and ships.
So like debuffs.
An example would be
Right.
you'd come across another ship and you choose to use the rudder ball against them. And that curses their ship, and it locks their rudder in place, so they can't turn, so they could
I
crash
see.
into a rock.
I see.
And then you've got things like ballast ball. So when you do loads of damage on the middle deck, and it doesn't take on water until the
Yeah,
ship
because
sinks
you
below,
don't- right.
ballast ball makes a ship heavy, and it forces it down under the water. So those holes
That's
kind
an
of stop.
interesting tactic now.
But the point is, you pick your moment when
When
to
to
use
do
them.
it, right.
And when you hear that sound of the cursed cannonball coming in, it's like, oh my god, they found some in the world and they're using them against us. But there's also, like, as you know, that sense of humour in Sea of Thieves is so important.
Right, quirky and funny.
Exactly, and that's a big part of this as well. So we've got things like the jig ball, which make the opponent crew dance, or the grog ball
So
that makes
it's
them
complete
drunk.
troll.
Yeah, and they're being sick over each other.
Right.
But the idea is that they're fairly infrequent that you find them. They're fairly rare. They're special. So you pick your moment when you use them.
So do you throw them? How do they work?
Fire them at the
mechanically?
cannon.
Fire them out of
Yeah, yeah.
cannon. So it's another ammo type.
Yeah.
So now we have regular cannons.
Yep.
Then we got
Cursed
cursed
cannonball.
cannons, and then we got what is it called? The other one, the ones that makes them dance.
Oh, that's a type of cursed cannonball.
Oh, that's a type of cursed
Yeah, yeah.
cannonball. Okay. So wait a minute. There's multiple cursed cannonballs.
Yes, there's so
I see.
Yeah, like rudder ball, there's ballast ball, there's jig ball, there's
I
a grog ball, and there's a whole range of them. Yeah,
I see.
So
So
you
it's-
find them in the world, and you're like,
Oh.
ooh, if we come across a skeleton ship or we come across a player ship,
Okay.
let's save this. We'll use it selectively.
Question: can you use these for merchants or no to turn them in? Because like you know how you get a crate of cannonballs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
have you guys ever thought of like also
no.
putting
It's more,
those in?
it's more like we call it kind of in-session progression. So
Oh,
we've already
okay.
got kind of an example of that with the gunpowder cake.
Oh,
It's
okay.
awesome tool.
Slightly drizzle. I'm Joe.
Hey John.
Executive Joe. Executive
Oh, Joe.
producer.
What's
Have you
up,
guys
man?
met before?
Sea of Thieves. I'm not sure
I've
we
met
have.
him through YouTube
really?
videos,
Oh, right.
and it's guys. I watch your stuff every day, every week, man.
Come
Yeah, awesome. This is a great surprise. You came out of nowhere. Holy crap.
Lyndon was just telling me about the most cutthroat story.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
You want me to tell him again?
oh, please tell me. It's like
Okay, if you guys got time, I'll
it's
tell
absolutely
him.
brutal. Yeah, we can riff on that. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what happened. It was me and a couple of buddies, and I think we had a pug. And we're just doing a voyage, and we're like, oh look, there's a skull fort.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, after this voyage, let's go to the skull fort. And as we're doing this voyage, we're on an island. We see another galleon coming out around the corner of the
Yeah.
island, and we're like, oh crap,
Okay.
we're probably gonna get hit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, guys, this is what we're gonna do. Listen to my strategy. We're gonna
Okay.
be very sneaky about this.
Okay.
Be quiet, don't say anything, and just let me handle this. So they're coming on. They didn't shoot us,
Yeah.
which was good for us. They were probably scared. We were scared too. And then I just climbed up their ship, and I was like, hey guys, I just want to say hi. Do you guys want to do this photo over there? They're like, yeah, there's a galleon there. We can take it out and share the loot. I'm like, okay, cool. So I told my guys, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is what's actually gonna happen. We're gonna go down there, and we're gonna help them out, clear the waves out. And when we're on the last boss, signal me that you guys are on the last wave.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell them that I'm gonna stand here back at our ships to look out for enemy ships coming to the skull fort.
yeah.
While in reality, I'm just gonna put down a couple of powder kegs
Okay.
instead. They're like, okay, that sounds good. So they're going. We went in there. They started cleaning out the waves, and the last boss comes up.
Yeah.
I go up the crow's nest, do my sneaky, and out of the blue, they hear an explosion, and they're like, what just happened? And we're like, we have no idea, man. Did you just get hit or something?
Yeah.
And then one of our guys just shot him in the back of the head with a blunderbuss while they weren't looking. They all died. They all despawned. We got the loot. It was the best night I ever had. One of our guys was like, he could not resist laughing. He had to mute himself as soon as he knew. As soon as he heard the explosion, he's like you hear someone's about to laugh,
totally, yeah,
and it just cuts off. It was great.
ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed,
Remember we
yeah.
had that slide, light to dark?
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much on the further side of the dark scale here.
Social,
It's very
Right,
social. so-
And this is a quick one. Another story. This happened very recently. We were doing Athena, and after Athena, we decided to do a quick fort with a couple of buddies, and we had 3 people total on a galleon. A galleon can do 4, and I'm gonna ask you a question about the next legendary ship because I do have a question about that. And so we come in, and there were 2 sloops there, and we're like, okay, let's see, let's just take them out. Like, it's just 2 sloops, whatever. And we go in there, and one of the guys, we're like, oh, we'll help you guys out. Obviously not. And the other guy was very smart. He asked us a good question that kept him alive. He said, how many people do you have on your ship? We said 3. Can I join your party? Make a bigger ship with a stronger crew? Yeah, of course. What do you think happened to that guy?
Yeah.
That was on the sloop by himself at that point. That's it. You know, he was smart. And then we made a friend. And the next thing we know, we got a YouTube follower out of that.
Oh, cool.
Or a subscriber, yeah.
Brilliant. So,
That's how you make money on YouTube. Piracy.
so what have you guys chatted about so far?
We talked about Curse Cannonballs.
Kind of
How about 'em?
how we've set up the teams to kind of enrich the game, like how launch went, Curse Cannonballs, kind of Curse Sails.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the Brigantine yet, the ship.
Yeah,
I guess you want
do
to talk about that.
Oh, that's what it's called, Brigantine.
The Brigantine ship, so that's Curse Sails, so we should talk about that.
Yes.
We talked about Forsaken Shores,
Cool,
so
yeah.
is that what you wanted to ask about the ship?
Yeah.
So
What's going on with that ship exactly?
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of feedback around the community around, you know, I've only got 2 other friends, you know, I want to have a ship experience tailor-made for, you know, this me and 2 other friends. So, you know, we've got the sloop in there now that was built for like 1 player, that 2 players can handle as well. And also the galleon, that's like 4 players playing together. You know, all mechanics are kind of tuned and honed for them. But the Brigantine has been built from the ground up for 3 players that play together. So it's
Maximum 3.
So it's in between the sloop and the galleon. So
Ooh, that's perfect.
2 decks, 2 masts. Something that players are asking for. This comes in with Curse Sails, so it's that big ship experience, but it's perfectly honed for 3 players.
So it's like it's just medium size, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
It's
it's
a little
exactly
small,
in between.
a little smaller than a
Yeah,
galleon.
so a bit
right.
more maneuverable than the galleon, but not quite as the sloop. So it's
Is
just
it
all
gonna
about that
is it gonna
balance.
be as fast as the galleon with all the sails going with the wind?
Its stats are pretty much in between.
In
So we
between,
can
okay.
pretty much line up the ships next to each other, put them into the wind, and you'll see kind of the sloop kind of taking over, and the Brigantine's in the middle,
I
and the
see.
galleon behind. So
That makes
it
sense,
fits
yeah.
perfectly in between balance-wise.
Okay, cool. And this is gonna obviously add a whole new dimension to PvP and just everything in general. Right?
I think just being in the world and seeing
Just
You're
being
quite
the
the PvP player, aren't you? I think. Yeah.
Oh, we are.
yeah.
You know, it depends. It depends what we're doing. If we're doing Athena speedruns or if we're just feeling like killing somebody that night. It depends how in a bad of a mood I am.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I don't know. Maybe that was one of you.
I hope not.
Oh, speaking of PvP, I've heard different people tell me different things. How many players are in the server? How many ships are in the server?
It's variable. I mean, the way
Someone told me 24 maximum.
I mean, the way our matching works is you've always got people leaving and joining. I mean, the way we've kind of set it up is that it's all around ship encounter frequency.
Okay.
So I guess when you're playing, you tend to kind of see ships every 20 minutes to half an hour. The idea that
Right.
you see a ship, you don't always necessarily encounter them kind of close up. So you've always got people leaving, joiners, and moving out, and we migrate players to maintain that ship frequency.
But I feel like sometimes there's been times when I'm on the server, there's not a single soul. Then there's times when I go on the server, there's like, oh my god, another ship.
There's always going to be variability.
So players
There
can
just is, right? There is,
Right.
but there's always going to be variability, and like that's kind of cool that you don't quite know, right? In terms
Right.
of like sometimes it feels really busy and there's loads of ships around, but sometimes you don't see one for a while, and that moment you see another ship on the
Right.
horizon, that's a really special moment. So I think generally, just in general play, that's always going to happen. But
I see.
as we introduce new features, new mechanics, like that's all going to change a little bit, right? And so, like the Hungering Deep, for example, purposely brought players together, and everyone was in the same place, the same kind of area around the map for a lot of that time
see.
period, because we really like driving different social interaction and everything between players.
But you guys don't have like a technical number. This is the maximum they can hold of players in a single server.
It's just more about that ship encounter frequency.
Okay.
We want it to be variable and unpredictable.
I see.
Yeah, and
I was just
we built
curious.
the game to migrate and keep stuff, just
Interesting.
keep it the right level of busyness. Like it's about that. So it kind of doesn't even matter how the tech works.
I see.
It
Well,
just
it's not
matters
that.
about-
It's just that people are curious.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
people? How many
Yeah, yeah.
servers?
We like
Because you know,
being
like
mysterious, yeah.
Conan. I say Conan. Like, you guys do. It is a Sea of Thieves. You guys have a lot of mystery in there.
Yeah.
You know, oh, what's the new threat encounter? Can you talk about that? I don't know.
Say again, sorry.
Threat encounter. In Curse Sales.
So actually,
what is it?
Well, no.
Yeah.
The Curse Sails, that's obviously the AI ship.
Yes.
Right. That's the AI ship is the threat.
Oh, the AI ship is the
Yeah,
threat.
yeah, the
So
skeleton
wait a
threat,
minute.
yeah.
Oh, it's a skeleton ship now. That's
Oh, sorry,
gonna
it's a
be-
skeleton ship. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Did you not know that?
I did not know that.
Sails. Oh, right.
I had no idea.
explain that.
Okay, so
I had no idea that the.
So there's a
okay.
skeleton ship that's a different ship kind of model that's been modelled around
skeleton.
around these ships. It's cursed.
Is it the one from the ferry?
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
You saw it in the teaser trailer, so
yeah,
you would have
yeah,
seen
you would have seen the outline.
coming out of the smoke, the skeleton ship.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was like
Yeah,
a
so-
new AI threat. I thought
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
like the ship that you get to drive or
No,
something.
no,
Oh no, that
no,
comes
no.
in as well. So the
Yeah.
Brigantine
Really?
comes in and
Yeah.
the skeleton ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
the
see.
skeleton ship is us introducing an entirely new threat to the world that a lot of people have been asking for.
Oh, yeah.
And it allows us to drive interesting player, and again, this will be interesting to see how you play with this. But, you know, like we want to give people reasons to team up almost against this AI threat, and for people that love ship versus ship combat as well, it's something that really you can go and scratch that itch with, and then so it's going to be interesting to see how it drives player behaviour. But you know, we said for a long time that we weren't sure, that we didn't really want to bring in an AI ship. We always wanted other ships to be other players. But looking at feedback, looking at data, looking at just sentiment, it was like, actually, this makes real sense to bring in here. And so we're really pleased to be able to be able to change our minds, really, because like it's a game that's always going to grow and evolve. It's always going to be based on feedback. And so like I see it as a really cool positive that we are making decisions that change what we've said in the past, because it's better for the experience.
Yeah,
of course. So yeah,
and I think it's nice that players can have that, you know, that fantasy of firing a broadside and having that ship combat experience where someone else is not always on the receiving end. You've got this now common foe in the world for the pirates
that everyone wants to kill anyway.
It's a reason for players to team up, right?
Of course,
so you've got galleons using their speaking trumpet to work together to take down that threat, and I think you'll see, you know, a lot of kind of cool stories that come from that.
Cool. Now, one criticism I particularly had, and a lot of people had, with the Hungering Deep recently, is that the Megalodon was a very cool fight. Thumbs up, guys.
No reasons to replay.
Yes, exactly. No reasons to replay unless you want to walk your friends through it. Show them the question around. What's going on with the rewards?
So we've taken that feedback and applied it to Curse Sales. Because we literally sat there the days after release. What's the top sentiment? What was amazing was the social stuff. It drove social behaviour to change completely. Like, so cool.
Yes.
But also fair feedback about, okay, people want reasons to replay because they love doing that. So we've now taken that feedback and we've built it into the campaign for around Curse Sales. So like everything we put into the game, we'll make sure that there are reasons to replay, and everything that we put into the game, we'll listen to feedback each time we put it in. So we'll do Curse Sales, and we'll have a slightly different campaign around it, about bringing these skeleton ships into the world and the new ship for players. But then it's like what's feedback we're going to get from that? No idea. But we'll take it and then we'll apply it to Forsaken Shores, and then again and again, because it's Sea of Thieves is such a game about player behaviour, and
of course,
because we can because we can test the mechanics of the Megalodon or of the quest itself in the studio, but when you go and play it in the real world with real players, you don't know how many players are going to turn up, what their behaviour is going to be like, and so the whole thing becomes this real emergent mystery that you're kind of like you're trying to predict player behaviour and psychology, and sometimes you get it right, and sometimes you just learn and get better. And honestly, like I think our knowledge and expertise around almost player psychology is something we've built up so much over the last couple of years with the alphas and everything, and now, and it's like I swear I know more about psychology than if I'd done a degree. But genuinely, like in terms of how about it is about behaviour.
It is,
yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
But we'll keep learning as we try new things, because we always want to try something that changes player behaviour and encourages different behaviours, maybe from what they're used to or from what other games have taught them, and so like that's exciting, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are going to do the Forsaken Shores.
Yeah.
And you got, I think, 2 more updates before the end of the year?
3
ideally.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay, so maybe like November.
We haven't confirmed the dates yet, but but you could probably look at the calendar and have a good guess.
I mean, October, November, December. You got honestly 3 months left.
Yeah, but we're trying between every 6 and 8 weeks right now, and like it's like the cadence is hard. It's impossible to predict, honestly.
5 minutes.
So, yeah. Okay. And but in my ideal world, it'll be every 6 weeks. But then the development reality might be longer, and it's going to be finding a balance, and it might change a little bit between each one. It just depends what's in it and the challenges of what we're doing. But yeah,
and then you've got the regular events in between that we talked about, right? So there's always that reason to kind of come back and earn those cosmetic rewards.
Now, a small story that's going to lead into a question. So I was on I forgot what it was called. It was one of those islands about birds. They were come on, guys, you know this. They were paintings of birds. Yeah, I forgot the name of the island.
Thunder Valley, I believe.
Yes, and it looked like there was a good and evil bird and something like that. And you know, we've seen many, like pretending like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm just going along the story.
Okay, just going along the story, right.
Yeah.
And you know, we've seen many skulls of creatures. And there's been very obvious. Bird skulls, giant birds.
Boar skulls as well. You saw that in the E3 2016 walkthrough.
Yeah, giant crabs possibly. So some evil mermaids turning you into mermaids. I don't know. All kinds of crazy stuff. So this bird, this thing creeped me out.
Really?
Yeah, so there was a book.
Was this the shrine? that you found?
No, it
was
wasn't.
just was a cave painting, was it?
It was a cave painting,
Yeah.
or it was like a painting on rocks, and then there were cave paintings.
I know the one you mean.
And there was a book that was basically with like riddles, and it didn't give you a quest, but I think it was basically the lyrics from the song. I don't know if I was going crazy or I was just not normal that night.
Yeah.
But as soon as like you finished reading the book, I heard like a bird screech, or maybe that's what I wanted to hear. So I don't know if like one of you guys decide to troll us with a book, and I'm like, is there a bird that's about to like pick me up and throw me?
It may have been a long night.
It may have been a long night. Yeah, okay. Right. That's a good one. Yeah. Did I have too many drinks that night? Yeah.
I mean,
You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance of finding those books.
So
on
do you
all the
guys
islands.
do like these little sound cues, or am I going crazy?
You may be going crazy.
I may
but
be-
I love the story.
Okay, thanks. At least you, yeah.
There are sound. There are obviously sound cues in the world and things like that to like just add life. I think that would probably be just a quirk of timing and circumstance.
It's a pair of emergence,
Exactly
right?
right, and it inspires imagination, doesn't it?
So I guess
And the
after
audio team, you've got to give credit to those guys. I mean, each world region, they've made it sound so distinctive, and down to the insects, the ambient sounds, the Foley's
So
whistling.
I guess
Knocked out
after
the
this conversation, I'm gonna have to tell my team at Gaming Instincts that their owner is going to a mental hospital.
park. But no. What I would say is keep a lookout for those books.
keep a
because
lookout for those books, okay.
There's some fun kind of poems that I might have wrote for you
Right,
that
okay,
you can
I see.
enjoy, and there's more of the shanty lyrics in there, and
I'll
there's-
definitely check
there
it
are
out.
ones that give you quests as well.
I see. What are the new tools in Forsaken Shores, or the like you had the drum in Hungry Deep? Where's
yeah.
the cannonballs like the new tool?
So the tool in Curse Sails, that's the July update. That is the Curse Cannonballs,
Yes.
and then we've got a big tool in Forsaken Shores, which is obviously the rowboat.
Okay.
Now we're looking at some other stuff as well. We're not really talking about anything
Okay.
now. We may be adding more stuff to those content releases, but nothing that we were going to share at the moment.
I see. Quick question, and I think we're gonna be like running out in 2 minutes. But you guys have other franchises like Battletoads, and what's it called, Manjo. Have you guys ever thought of like maybe doing events based on those kind of games? Like maybe, what's going on with companion pets? Can we see Kazooie for a companion pet? I mean, it would make perfect sense though, right?
Would it?
Why wouldn't it? It's a rare game. It's a parrot
Sea
or
of Thieves is Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
though.
right, but
And
it's
all of those games are cool and they're great, unique
Right.
IPs and stuff, and we understand fans love celebrating that kind of stuff. Right? But
Okay.
I think we'd just consider each idea on its own merit, and would we
Yeah.
want to do something? It's like, I think we have to make sure it fits into the world tonally.
I see.
Absolutely.
And
It makes sense,
Makes
okay.
it like because you
Right.
don't want some things to stand out.
and it's just gonna be like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
You're
exactly,
talking
yeah.
about the kind of painting you saw on the wall of the bird. Have you seen the kind of throwbacks to kind of some rare franchise stuff? There's some.
Yes, I've seen those.
Yeah,
stuff
I mean,
as well.
but when you saw them, they still kind of make sense in the Sea of Thieves world.
Right.
They're in that art style.
I
I think
see.
whatever we put into the game,
It's gonna be in our style.
yeah, we don't want to break immersion.
Okay,
You know,
that
it's
makes sense,
making
yeah.
you feel like you're really in that pirate world,
Fair
and the law's
enough.
important to us.
You wouldn't have Banjo
Right.
as a pet, basically.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome stuff, guys. And before we leave, what would you like to say to the fans?
Just want to say thanks for coming on this journey with us. This is just the start, and the future's incredibly bright for Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly what Mike says. We are as excited now, if not more, as we have been at any stage on the project
very-
about where we can go. So.
I am very, very excited. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
No worries,
you.
man.
Thank you.